All right, guys, here we go. I'm going to put my headset on. Give me a second here. I'm going to play around. I'm trying to make sure audio is good today. So we're going to test that. If you guys hear any issues, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm probably going to try and play the live stream. So just 1 second here while I get some of this set up. I'm just starting a little early so that I can make sure everything is good throughout the stream. 1 sec here while I pull up my channel and throw it on my audio. I wonder if I can, probably need to listen to it from a different stream. All right, we'll worry about that in a second. If you guys hear any audio issues at all, please let me know. All right, so let's get started. Let's have some fun. I think I'm up and running. Let me see here. Can you guys say something in chat? And let me bring this other window back up here real quick so I know what I'm doing. YouTube Studio. Dashboard content. Audio is fantastic. All right, cool. I swapped out cables and did a few other things. So hopefully that is all good. Let me just click back into here so I have things set up the way they normally are. Okay, awesome. Here we go. All right, so today has been a good day. I don't know about you guys. It's been a good day for me. Let's just pull up a few things here real quick. We're going to look at the stock heat map real quick. Just kind of focus on what's been moving. Obviously, Tesla is a primary focus for me. Hopefully it is for you too. Up 6% on the day. You can't hate that at all. It's been massive. Also, if we look here at the crypto side of the fence here, which I should probably do. Let me do something real quick. I'll bring up Bitcoin. This is fascinating. Bitcoin hasn't moved much at all. And we will be going over macro, of course. It's part of my name, so we got to do that. But you'll see Bitcoin sitting above 63. We had, if you look at the monthly here, we had basically, I would say, a bullish pennant pattern forming here. It looks like maybe we'll try and trend around to 65 in between where we are. But I could see that bullish pennant playing out this month, potentially breaking out very soon. Otherwise, who cares if it's 30 days? I don't care. I don't know about you guys, but when you look at how this thing moves, when you look at how Bitcoin moves, what do you care about 30 days? I don't care. I'm just ready for the next leg up, and we'll be covering some of that in a second. One of the things I wanted to show here, if I pull up miners, they had a pretty good day. So let's see where we're at right now. Again, we've got about 3 minutes till close, but Wolf up 17% almost, Cypher up 14, Mara up 13.4, CleanSpark up 12.5, Iron up 12. Just an all-around good day for a lot of the miners, especially the ones I hold. So I'm super excited about that. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this in the future, guys, because global liquidity is finally expanding. There's some things, I am going to create a dedicated video to global liquidity. I'm probably going to do it this week. Maybe I'll get ambitious and even do it tomorrow. The reason I want to focus on that so much is because of it's the primary driver of everything. And I think the understanding of that is key to making money. The times where I haven't listened to Michael Howell from Cross Border Capital about global liquidity was actually the end of this last year and beginning of this year. He was talking about how global liquidity was being constrained. And in the process of that, we saw markets go down. And I lost a decent chunk of money being very long in calls while that was happening. But you know what? Global liquidity is turning around again. Part of that is because of China. We'll be talking about some of that in a second. I might actually even hit on it real quick right now. And then we'll bounce around to a few other things. Lots of stuff to talk about today, guys. Very exciting day. So this is the People's Bank of China, one of the biggest banks in the world. It says, and this is, Jennifer is not a friend of China in any way. I think she's Falun Gong. She hates them. She hates the CCP, I should say, which makes up about 7% of China. But she said, today's the People's Bank of China issued an announcement that the PBOC has decided to conduct treasury bond borrowing operations for some primary dealers in the open market business in the near future. This means that the CCP government will normally start non-anchored, unbacked money printing. Does that sound familiar? Just money printing, not backed by anything. Does that ring any bells? The Ministry of Finance will issue treasury bonds, and the central bank will buy and hold treasury bonds, which means that these bonds will never have to be repaid. Therefore, today is a historic day. Non-anchored, unbacked money printing has finally been activated. Please tell us what's going to happen next if you know anything about economics. I can tell you what's coming next. Global liquidity expansion, because these guys are buying their own debt so that they can keep printing. And they're one of the most highly indebted countries in the world. I would argue worse than Japan. And their 250% GDP. So now we have China basically getting ready to go full throttle on the money printer, and I think that's going to be happening everywhere in the world. And Michael Howell agrees. He's somebody I might end up trying to do an interview with in the near future. I loved his book. I posted about a really good YouTube video where somebody had interviewed him, and they just did an excellent job. I'll try and post that again here soon too, just so you guys can take a look at it. But I think global liquidity is what matters. It's what matters, man. If we go back and look at cycles, you can see that. And I'll probably pull up some slides here in a second that represent it. I've posted it many times already. But next, let's jump real quick here. So more economic data, more macro stuff. Let's look at what Seth has to say. He said, B of A, slowing GDP plus accelerating EPS has historically been the best backdrop for equities. Now, this is something Michael Howell talks about all the time. He said a struggling economy, slowing GDP is a struggling economy, but where you still have accelerating EPS, and accelerating EPS could just be for, prices remaining strong, sales continuing to go up, whatever it is, historically has been a good backdrop for markets. An average quarter-over-quarter return of 3.6%, positivity rate 79%. So just saying that this could be a really good setup for markets, and that's what global liquidity is telling us too. Jumping subjects real quick here. So, millionaire migration, I wanted to point out a few things. The UK has a massive outbound migration of millionaires going to other countries that are more tax-friendly. Russia is starting to see a drop in theirs. Look at China and India, though. You don't really think about India as having a concentration of really rich people that are migrating out, but they are. A lot of the times they're coming to places like America, Canada, other parts of Europe that are friendly where they can really build out their businesses. Now, that might change in the future. We might see more and more inbound. I think that's probably coming in the years ahead. But the elephant in the fucking room right here is China. Look at this. 15,200 millionaires in 2024 have left this country. I can't tell you how devastating that is to an economy. UK is going to be hurting. China is going to be hurting. But look at who's benefiting. I've said this many times that I think China's neighbors are going to be some of the biggest beneficiaries of its decline. Australia, Singapore. Look at this. United Arab Emirates. They pretty much let everybody in and are very tax friendly, so they're doing really good. Parts of Europe, Canada, and the U.S. These are all doing really great. People don't want to live in communist dictatorships. They don't want to live in economies that are falling apart, and we're not seeing that here. So this is good stuff. All right, Seth has another one. He said small caps are the cheapest they've been since the dot-com bubble and 2020 pandemic. EPS is forecast to explode higher in Q2 after 5 quarters of declining EPS. Do you think they'll remain this inexpensive and absolute on a relative basis? I'm going to say they won't. So this is basically saying small caps are incredibly undervalued and that they're due for a bounce, just like during the dot-com bubble in the 2020s. So this, to me, is another positive sign that we're going to see markets going higher in the months, quarters, and maybe even year plus ahead. Evan posted the S&P 500 just closed the first half of 2024 at 5460. That's above every year-end price target given by Wall Street back in December. So, and this is from Charlie Belilo. I'm probably saying that wrong. Why am I bringing this up? Because they're all fucking wrong. Okay? They're all wrong. All these super smart people that people listen to are wrong. So try and find the truth, man. Try and find people that are actually right most of the time, not a bunch of analysts in Wall Street that don't know what the fuck they're talking about and that are just trying to stay roughly within consensus so that they don't ruffle any feathers or get themselves fired down the road for making a mistake. I would rather make a mistake and learn from it than just be a fucking sheep. I suggest you do the same. Not financial advice. Heinz Inn says, I hear millionaires and billionaires are moving out of California as California goes. So does that? Yeah, totally. They're going to They were migrating for a while to Florida. Florida's had a massive influx of wealth coming into that state because they're tax friendly too, no death tax. But Texas is seeing that too, and Texas is going to be getting their own stock market. So you'll have stock markets in Chicago and New York and Texas being a hub in the future. And Texas is quickly becoming the biggest renewable energy user in the country. There's so much energy, there's so much power going into Texas. But yeah, California is hurting. They keep bucking up. All right. For people that don't know, Le Pen is the leader of the National Rally Party. This is under U.S. Economic, but whatever. Just hear me out. They have dominated the first round of elections. We have no doubt that Macron's... Sorry about that. We have no doubt that Macron's leadership is gone in France. And it looks like this lady right here is going to be winning. She is a conservative capitalist to the core. So we have that happening in Argentina. We have it in El Salvador. We have it in France. We're going to have it in Canada. We're probably going to have it in the United States too, judging by how that last presidential election debate went, unless we throw in a curveball. So all I'm saying is capitalism seems to be reigning. And if I even go back up here again and look one more time, I wish this scroll worked better. Look one more time at this millionaire migration. I would argue the UK has leaned away from capitalism a little bit over the years, and it just made really mismanaged. So we'll just ignore that one, okay? But outside of them, look, Brazil, Nigeria, South Africa, China, Russia, all these countries that represent, I'm going to ignore India, but represent like communism or dictatorships or whatever, they're hurting. But the countries that are benefiting are like Singapore, and Singapore is arguably a dictatorship, but we're going to throw it in the democracy category because they treat their people pretty well, and there's just no bad history recently there. But look at USA, Canada, Switzerland, Portugal, UAE is pretty I'm going to say freaking conservative for that region of the world, okay? Or pretty relaxed, I should say. Liberal, actually, for that region of the world. And then, again, Australia and Japan. Like, the places you're seeing money flow are places that are open and capitalist. And I think Argentina will end up being one of those here in the near future, too. And again, you're just going to see money's flowing in the right direction. It's not flowing to BRICS, guys. I'll tell you that. It ain't fucking BRICS. Nobody gives a shit about BRICS. BRICS isn't real. I mean, it's real, but it's pathetic right now. And it might never amount to anything, based upon the moves China and Russia have been making. All right, Michael. Next few months will be interesting. This says small business hiring typically lead the unemployment rate. So what he's saying here is that we're seeing small businesses not doing a lot of hiring, and that he believes that this is going to lead to higher employment. Is he right? I mean, he could be, but we've seen a massive divergence here that is very, very strange. We're also seeing AI picking up. We're hearing about robotics and autonomy, and I just posted something about showing 750,000 robots that work at Amazon. So there's a lot of weirdness, but again, a very interesting visual data point. And he's right. If you look here, it does tend to lead. It doesn't always, but it does tend to lead. Tom Lee said, compared to start of 2024, the foundation for equities is stronger. He said 2025 EPS is likely greater, 280 versus 260 estimate. 2025 PE likely stronger than 20x. So all he's saying here is we actually look like we have a better setup now than we did the start of 2024. And yeah, I think that's true. I totally agree. All right, Wall Street. Nope, sorry. Yeah, this is Wall Street. So we're just talking about the elections in France. Somebody said that this actually looked like a peaceful demonstration. I mean, this probably was more peaceful right there. There's other posts underneath of here that are not nearly as peaceful. But I do think, again, I think we're seeing major shifts, and we could see some turmoil coming from that. But I think we're seeing a push towards capitalism and conservatism, and I think that's good. Oh, I thought this is not the U.S. economy, but I just want to point out a truth that I think is overlooked. There's a lot of these on both sides of the political fence. It says the truth is somewhere in the middle. This is from Elon Musk. He says climate change risk is overstated in the near term. Like I think somebody had something about like Glacier National Park had signs up that said that the glaciers were melting so quick they'd probably be completely gone by 2020. And it's like, oh, we passed those, so they got to update the signs now. So over the short term, it is bullshit, because when you look at how long the Earth has been here, I mean, no matter what you believe, it's a long fucking time. And to be able to predict within a few years that the Earth is going to come to an apocalyptic end because of climate change, it's probably fucking stupid. But what he says in here, all that matters is how many billions of tons of carbon are transferred from deep underground into the atmosphere and oceans, aka the surface cycle. He said what people do on the surface is essentially irrelevant. Leave the farmers alone. So he's talking about how parts of Europe, they're going after farmers and trying to take their land because idiots like Bill Gates are saying that we have to get rid of cows and eat fake ass meat because it's destroying the environment. And what Elon's saying here is that the actual science says that's bullshit. And it's not a concern. And to follow the science. And I'm going to stick with Elon on this one. Cross-border capital. Sorry, I get a little political every once in a while. I've got a feeling that's going to get worse heading into this election. I'm going to try and be down the middle, though, because I don't like any of the fucking candidates. But you will get my views. That's just how life works, especially on my YouTube channel. Cross-border capital. Again, Michael Howell, the man I love so much. He's made me so much money. He made me 700% last year. Then I didn't fucking listen to him for 6 months, and I lost 28%. So I'm going to listen to him. But he said the latest pickup in the RRP, the reverse repo markets, is starting to feed to higher liquidity stress. Time for the Fed, daily index jumpy, but trend plainly rising. So all he's saying is he thinks we're going to be seeing more issuance of treasury bills, not bonds, treasury bills, to provide liquidity. And maybe, I don't know. Again, I don't know how much can be done in Congress within our country, but China's certainly doing their part to feed the money printer. All right, Elon says the truth is somewhere in the middle. Oh, already did that one. Scroll down. See these bookmarks move on me? I hate it so much. All right, so again, we'll try and get through the macro here. Thanks for sticking around, Kevin. Thank you for joining. Appreciate that. I think you've been here before, but I appreciate you sticking around. Hedge funds are dumping technology stocks at the fastest pace since at least 2016. I say this a lot, but hedge funds are always so fucking wrong. They're literally trying to hedge, right? They're trying to be like insurance. So you can't necessarily look at them as a leading indicator of market direction. I think that's where some people get confused. Maybe even my friends at Bar Chart, I'm not sure. But I wanted to make sure to point that out. All right, let's see what this says. Oh, and this is I won't go into all this. There's something called the Chevron decision that went into that's had the Supreme Court look at it, and this has been completely flipped on its head. And it's a very important thing because it should make it to where government regulatory agencies aren't able to do a lot of the bullshit they've been doing, where I think it was OSHA could just demand that everybody have to get a shot when the shots are unproven. And don't get me wrong, I got them. I got a couple of them, right? So it's not like I didn't do the thing, but really looking back at it, it was probably the wrong choice, in my opinion. And again, but that stuff was mandated by regulatory agencies that probably stepped outside their bounds. And that's been happening a lot in a whole bunch of different areas. So having this overturned should make it to where regulation is lessened in the years ahead. And so that's a really big deal. And I think it's going to be a huge boost for America. And I love that shit. And I wanted to make sure you guys heard about it. Let me see what else we got here. We're good on this. I want to point out something else. Why did the markets go up today? I would say a key part of that is going to be the United States ISM manufacturing prices paid. We had a forecast of a consensus, I should say, of 55.9 and a forecast of 56, but we got 52.1. So this was great because the rest of the economic indicators were fairly strong, at least the ones that should be. But where do you want weakness? You want it in prices, guys, because that lets us know inflation is kind of taming down. I mean, there isn't any at this point outside of what are going to be assets from money printing. But I do think a decent amount of things could still be rolling over. And I don't think inflation's a concern. And I'm just going to keep saying that. But it's nice to have this coming down. It's still in expansion territory because, again, we are at 52.1. If we can get under 50, that would be great. That will mean that it's contracting, and we want to see contraction in prices, make the Fed super happy, get us closer to that September, probably not July. Could it be July? I mean, technically it could be July, right? I think the Fed should be proactive in lowering rates. I think it would be really crazy if July 31st they did that, especially with a under 10% probability. But I think that would be a really good thing for markets, and I think it's what should come. We'll see, though. I think there's a lot of political dynamics in what the Fed's doing, geopolitical things that are going on in the world that, we've been putting a lot of pressure on Russia and China with what we're doing with, with what we're doing with our money printing and with our currency. So I don't know. It's very interesting to see. But so we'll see if we lower. But September, I mean, we're down, 2/3 chance that we're going to lower at least 25 bips, if not 50. So I think that's pretty much going to happen. Now, again, let's quickly look here. So S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, consensus was 51.7, forecast 51.7, 51.6. Nothing to see here. ISM Manufacturing PMI, we got a 48.5, and we were looking for a little bit higher at 49.1 and 50. So we did see this come down, and it's in contraction territory. But again, it's a little bit weaker. It's not falling off a cliff. But when we're seeing prices come down as hard as they are, that was a 4-point move down. Then you could see some of this too. Employment actually was down a little bit, but not much. Again, we were shooting for 50 or 51. We got 49.3, so that wasn't really much of a hit. Construction spending down 0.1%, whereas they were expecting 0.1. I gotta say, guys, don't expect a lot of construction spending. We're hitting this end of the cycle where the construction's done and people are trying to figure out where rates are going, and we're seeing new builds go down, which is inflationary. So you know what we fucking do? If we want more supply to be out there so that we can see prices come down in these areas, we fucking lower rates. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. It's what needs to happen. ISM manufacturing new orders, 49.3 versus consensus of 49 and forecast of 46. So actually looking maybe a little stronger than normal. All good stuff, man. Also, fear and greed index, it's at 48. We're neutral. We're not even bullish. I made $250,000 today. We're not even fucking bullish. I just want to point that out. Let me see what else. What else should we look at? Oh, you know what we should look at? Let's do one of these here real quick. Let's look at the indices. S&P, bullish as fuck. Got to work on my cussing. Pretty bullish. So I just want to point out there's a short trip to 56. We are doing 56. We're hitting this .618 fib. Then maybe the S&P takes a break here is my thought. Maybe we take a break. But look at this. We're sitting on just massive peak volume, just establishing a beautiful base. So to me, I could see us at least try to get up here, and then I could see the S&P taking a break. Personally, that's my view on that. Because I think large caps eventually just need to pass the gains on to other companies as they become more highly valued. Again, not that they don't deserve it. They're cash rich. They're just raking in money. A lot of them are SaaS businesses or things that, just pull in massive revenue and that are only getting bigger with time as they gain efficiencies and dominance. But some of that money is going to roll over. And the NASDAQ, again, is a great representation. The tech sector, the top 100, are just powerful. This is more bullish looking than the S&P. 0.6%, 0.66%, almost 3x what the S&P, 2.5x what the S&P was doing today. So I think this can continue to maintain. Like I said, the .786 in this one, the 21,285 range, I could see us getting there. I know it sounds crazy, but I could see some of these big dogs just continuing to be strong. And then the Russell, the small caps, we're finding our base. It looks like we're trying to get above this first fib line, which I think is amazing. And what people are kind of starting to realize is we've almost got like a shoulder, head, shoulder. This is a bottoming pattern. This is just like such a bottoming pattern. And then you have on the RSI, even on the weekly time frames, if you look here, just like higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. This thing wants to go up. And I still think Tom Lee's right. We're going up 45% on this thing in the Russell. I don't know, man. Beginning of next year? I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's by fall or summer. I'm sorry, summer of next year. But I think this can legitimately happen. I think we can make this kind of run. And maybe we have an overshoot. I know it sounds crazy, but Wolf, wait for a pullback or add to position. It's up to you. I don't buy when things are up 15% on a day or more. That's just such like today I sold 1% of my Tesla. Oh, I should probably go over that. I sold 1% of my Tesla calls today. I posted about this on X. Let me just pull up over here real quickly. Let me open in a new tab. All right. So yeah, I sold. Let me see. It's probably in here somewhere. I sold 1% of Tesla calls, so I've still got 99% left. And for the people that always love to question these kind of decisions, which I'm not saying you can't. I mean, whatever. Everybody has questions, right? But it's only 1%. I have 99 left. My position has doubled. I've made almost $400,000 in the last couple of months from these purchases, okay? So I've sold 1%. I don't think that's a crazy fucking number. And I've used that to buy ArcG and PayPal. All in 2026, to be clear. June. Let me see. I sold June of 2026 Tesla calls, and then I bought January 16th, 2026 for PayPal and for ArcG. And so I'm still holding those. I actually think these could do really well. The numbers, maybe I'll pull them up in a second here. They look pretty sick for a multiplier to the upside. So I think these are a really great deal right now. But again, they're time-based. There's risk that comes with it. But I think it's good. Yeah, if you guys could, Kevin says, hey, Monday Fun Day, hit the likes. If you guys could do that, it's really supportive, and I appreciate it. Derek Fisher, thank you for joining too. RJ Cohen, agree 100%. Paul Hoger, he's got a stock he wants me to look at. I can look at that a little bit. I'm new to Wolf, wait for pullback. I already answered that. Hey, Jesse, whenever you start taking ticker requests, I would get your thoughts and fundamentals around the technicals. Okay, there's another one. Alex Garcia says, today I sold all my 719 Tesla calls for up 130%, still holding my 2026 leaps. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense, man. That's a nice turnaround. Get rid of that short-dated shit, take that profit, and then hold for the long term. I think that sounds super smart. But yeah, so that's what I did for my position today. And let's see, I don't know where I ended up. I ended up making, let me see here, today. Maybe a little over, it's actually a little over 200, maybe 205 or 210, probably 210. Cry me a river, I'm going to be okay. All right, let's hop over here now. So we've talked about a lot. Let's jump over here real quick and talk about Bitcoin. And then we'll talk about Tesla, and then we will move on to other things like we usually do. All right, so Bitcoin, just in, U.S. Marshal Service announces partnership with Coinbase to safeguard, trade its large cap digital assets portfolio. The U.S. Marshal Service is trading their crypto on fucking Coinbase. I love that. This is a good one. You got to hear it. This is great. This guy in 2013 bought. There's a video about that.
Apparently the question on everyone's mind.
So there's a video about that because this guy in 2013 is talking about how he bought Bitcoin at $111. And this is his follow-up to that.
Apparently the question on everyone's minds is, did he hodl?
Bitcoin is now up to $111.
Come on. What kind of question is that? Of course I did. I hodled, I bought more, and I've hodled again. I've hodled everything. I've hodled every single thing. And that, so far, has been the best decision that I've ever made financially in my life. You literally just...
So, this guy's a fucking legend. I just want to say, if that's true, if he really did, I mean, his camera is definitely better than 2013, but that's not saying much. That's 8 years ago. But, well, more than that in real time. But anyway, so this man held it from 111 to now. That's a lot. That's a fucking lot, man. That's some balls right there. That dude's got to be hella rich. All right. Thomas from Apollo. He's talking about, here's what 2014 to 17 looked like. Here's 2022 to 2025. And so you could see kind of the natural curve that we have in the price action of Bitcoin. But, and they're like identical to each other or very close, right? So what's interesting about this is just some of the price points it would put us at. Potentially around $500,000 to $1 million a coin. I don't know if that'll happen. I'm leaning towards it might. But we'll figure that shit out later. We'll monitor as we go, guys, because you can't see the entire future. There's going to be things that happen that change that and make the vision more clear or fuzzier. So we'll figure it out as it happens. But I'm still leaning towards 180, and withdrawing a bunch of my less conservative positions and flipping them to Bitcoin or something, or some other kind of investment like Tesla might be an easy one, unless it runs like a motherfucker over the next year. That could happen too. Anyway, Titan of Crypto, he said, Bitcoin most hated rally about to start. And he's just showing euphoria stages where you could see this double top that happened before. And then he's showing the fear and disbelief stage where it just trades sideways. And look at these. They're so close. They're beautiful fractals is what they call it when the patterns are very repeatable like this. He actually should have put a green here because, I mean, that's what this was. That's what this was. And he's just plotting out the next one. And it puts us in the 100,000s for that next move up. And that isn't the top, guys. Like, again, I don't think it is. I'm going to try and position conservatively, though. I'm going to lean towards more conservative at that time. But I don't know. I think we're still going. All right. Crypto Higgs says, Tom Lee stands by $150,000 Bitcoin forecast. Says 10-year Mt. Gox overhang should disappear in the second half. I think that people don't really understand Mt. Gox. And if you don't know what that is, there was a problem many years ago where Mt. Gox was like the only exchange. I can't say the only exchange because Bitcoin could be traded in many ways, right? There's a lot to it built into the code. But this was the primary place with liquidity, and it was like it was where everybody was. It was like bigger than Binance of today, right? Well, before they had all their issues. But it was huge. And it blew up, and then these guys have been trying to get their money back the entire time. Now, they're going to get it, but here's what I need you to understand. These motherfuckers got Bitcoin back then, and they know that we're like halfway into this bull right now, maybe less. Do you think they're going to fucking sell right away? No. And so once this is like really released and the funds are out there, people are going to realize that these guys are the original fucking diamond hands. And unless they're desperate, they're going to hold that shit. That's my take. And I think Tom Lee might feel similar. All right, Jake Wajatstik. This guy is in Denver. That's a few states away from me. He's a good dude. He was talking about Ethereum looks ready for an explosive upside move based upon its current setup. I personally would have to agree with him, and I think we'll be seeing it very soon. And I think the 4,000 range, getting kind of up into that, is going to be very probable here soon enough. Vivek said, Sailor was just the beginning. Wait till $110 billion Michael Dell starts announcing his $1 billion monthly Bitcoin buys. Michael Dell is Dell Computers, in case you didn't know him. He just sold $1.3 billion worth of shares of Dell. And now he's talking about Bitcoin all the time on X. So what do you think he's doing with that fucking money? And he makes Sailor look like a baby. I got another slide that'll show you that, because this man is worth a lot more than him. All right, scroll down here. Sensei. I love this name, and he's actually a pretty cool dude, so I better follow him. He was just pointing 800 days in the bull run, just showing cyclically what happens next. From the halving and on. And again, these patterns are so repeatable. There's so many different things you can look at on chain that show you where Bitcoin's headed. All right, here's this guy, Milton Friedman. So let's just say brilliant economist that's ever lived, like one of them. It's hard. I don't want to argue that point, but one of them, right? Let's listen to what he's talking about in 1999 after he talks about the internet's doing all these great things. Yeah, sure, but here's what we really need to have happen, and it's coming.
That I think that the internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of government. The one thing that's missing, but that will soon be developed, is a reliable e-cash. A method whereby on the internet you can transfer funds.
Fuck. All right, am I back? This is what sucks. So I got a 5 gig. Anyway. So he basically talked about eCash. He's a decade early on the prediction of Bitcoin. It's pretty fascinating. Here's what sucks. I got a new internet service that's 5 gig down and up, blazing fucking fast. Now that's dropping all the time. Oh, so I might have to switch back. I don't know. At least the other one, it was slower, but at least it worked. So maybe I'll end up going back to that. But at least I got the audio fixed today. I'll try and figure the rest of this shit out. Yeah, do I have to go to Starlink? Do I really? I'm in a pretty decent city. I hope not. Anyway, let's keep rolling. Let's rock and roll. Also, Jake was talking about, and he's a good dude. He's a good dude. He's got a pay-for service, but he's actually like one of the few good guys. But Jake was talking about how Bitcoin looks very strong and how it looks like it's going to go up on the weekly candle, and the monthly candle's just as good, guys. This is Bitcoin Magazine. It said just in, Japanese public company Metaplanet buys another 200 million worth of Bitcoin. That just happened in the last 24 hours, at least the notification coming out. So that's a decent amount of money. I don't know how many people realize that, but lots of Bitcoin getting bought up. Lots of Bitcoin, and very little of it to be sitting around. This was me, a post. I don't do a lot of posts anymore, but when I tell you on June 30th, when Bitcoin's at 61.9, that it's bottomed finally, and I think we're going up from here. And I don't make that claim very often. I post other people's work, but I think that was a little prophetic, and you could just feel it. You could feel it when you know the macro really well. You can feel what's coming. Bitcoin Archive talks about Sony launching a Bitcoin and crypto exchange. Now, when I was a kid, up to my younger years, adulthood, Sony was the company of the world. They're less relevant now, but they do have billions of dollars. And the fact that they're opening a Bitcoin exchange tells you something about this asset class, guys. I mean, how many ways do I need to fucking portray this to you? How many ways do I need to show you how the world is expanding global liquidity and that this is a lifeboat like we've never seen in history? Do your due diligence, please. Here's just another one saying $300 Bitcoin, whatever. 180 to 1 million. That's my target for this cycle. All right, political stuff. Just because I love politics. Not really. This is Javier Milei talking about derivatives and underlying assets. He's brilliant. I love the fact that this guy that is tearing their system apart is an economist. I love that. I love that there's actually a good economist out there that cares about society and wants to make it better and is like, this is fucked up. We're going to trash it and start over. Anyway, it makes me happy. Argentina has the ability to be an America, to be a USA. They were arguably as good, if not heading to better, and then they went down a decline for 110 years. It's really sad. Michael Dell. So this one's saying 2.9 billion of Dell shares this year have been sold. So I guess it's a little higher. That other recent one was like 1.9 or whatever, but he sold 2.9 in total. Again, everybody talking about Michael Dell. Why did they talk about Michael Dell? Because they were saying that somebody allocated $450 million to Bitcoin in a very short period of time, which is cool. There are so many of these. There are just so many of these. Let me see if there's anything that I really want to focus on. Ohio Senator or Senate candidate Bernie Moreno says our founding fathers would have been Bitcoiners. They believed in decentralization of power. That is 100% true. I will be very political about that statement. I 100% agree with that. I think this is good. There's more here. I'm sure I'm missing things. Oh yeah, it's like hopping around. Peter Thiel evidently doesn't understand Bitcoin, which is kind of sad. He's a very smart man, but everybody, there's so many different people. Oh yeah, and Mr. 100, somebody said in chat here, Mr. 100, I mean, that could be Michael Dell. It could be a sovereign nation. There could be more, there's going to be more buying in the future. Look at this. BlackRock is buying for 3 of its funds. They're buying their Bitcoin ETF for 3 of its funds. Strategic Global Bond Fund, the Strategic Income Opportunities Portfolio, and Global Allocation Fund. BlackRock is in. They want this to do well. If this does really well, they'll make just billions in fees every year off of its success easily. So they're highly invested in all of this. Let me see. I just want to make sure there's nothing to. No, I think that's good. That's probably good on Bitcoin. Again, buy Bitcoin, own Bitcoin. Hi, Cyber Jesse. Yes. Can you look at? All right, I'll try and look at those in a sec. We're getting on to the Tesla part now, and then we're going to jump over to other stocks that I hold, and then we're going to get into your guys' stock requests. So we're rocking and rolling. But I just wanted to point out that this is the number of in stock Teslas. And if you look here on April 14th, we had 9,695 globally for just the Model Y. That number is down significantly towards under 4,000 in the 3,000 range. So it's like almost a third of what it was. And then we're seeing a tapering off again, like in the Model X is down for inventory. The Model S is down for inventory. The Model 3 was ramping in there, but the way I see those selling, especially with all the attention my Cybertruck's getting, I think that just helps sales on everything. We're seeing record numbers all over the place right now for Tesla. And it's good. So I wouldn't hate it. Uh-oh. Am I still here? Is my interweb still? You son of a bitch. I think it dropped again. All right. We'll get you there. We'll get you there. Let me see. Hey, am I back? Am I back? Am I back? All right. Anyway, wherever the fuck I dropped. This fucking internet. I hate. Why can't I will pay extra for shit that works. Why can't things just work? America, it seems like, and maybe this is just a myth, things worked at one point, but it seems like, I don't know, doesn't seem that way anymore. Things break all the time. Anyway, I'm just old and bitching. Let's move on. All right, Open Sky. One of my favorite Aussies on this earth. She's wonderful. She said, Tesla's monthly chart really wants to break the 3-year downtrend. Let's go. This is monumental. When we break that trend, it's in the 300s, okay? 330 could happen really quickly, and that's my target for my options, which would mean I would make 2-3 million or something. And then I don't know. I don't know what happens in the next couple of years. Maybe I'll convert like at least 40 to 50% to stock by that time. We'll see. But it's going to be fun. All right, let me see what else I want to talk about for Tesla here. Tesla secured a $163 million Megapack contract for a new battery in New Zealand. That's kind of cool. This avoids gas peaker plants, which is basically where they have to turn on really expensive energy to be able to get it to where they can balance the load because they're just receiving too much demand over a short period of time. Well, if this is happening all over the world, which I think it's going to start more in Europe, and it's definitely happening in parts of China, and they're going to be building them there too, we're going to see a lot more of this in the future. I also wanted to point out this gap that Jake was talking about. I pointed it out a few times too, but the 230, 235 range is really where we're going to run. It's a pretty easy target for Tesla. I'll actually maybe just show you here too. So if we zoom over here and we switch to, I believe it's the weekly, you can see where the 230 range also, so we had that volume there where it starts to pick up, and you can see this next fib level up here that we cross into at the 234. So you have, starting at 230, you have the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame, which is usually like, that's going to be an area where we take a pause, most likely. And then you have the first fib at 234, and then you have stronger amount of volume up there, right? So this range is probably a good one to maybe take another couple of percent for me, and to purchase other things. And I might go as high as 5%, maybe 10, depending upon how the options perform. That's the game plan, at least. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys my thoughts. Let me hop over here. Where was I? Over here? Nope. Over here. Okay. And again, that just lines up really well with what he's talking about. Tesla China says sales hit a new high in June, according to their Weibo page. We're seeing this also all over Europe. Narratives are so funny. I posted this. So people are probably, they get confused by me because I kind of conflate a lot of other Elon's companies into this Tesla section. But all of these companies are going to be feeding off of each other and benefiting from each other, which is why Tesla is going to be worth so much money in the future. Kathy Wood from with the ARK funds, especially genomics, talks about this all the time. There's all these emerging technologies in all these different fields, and Tesla's leading a bunch of them. And so their ability to be able to basically cross-pollinate and become a mega corporation is super high. That's why I post stuff like this that says Grok 2 to be released in August and Grok 3 by the end of the year, is because the advancements we're going to see in Grok and XAI. Grok will be in the car soon. Elon's already talked about the fact that Grok will be there. And so in the future, I'll be talking to my car just like I'd talk to my robot that I'll be getting whenever I can pre-order that next year. Don't get me wrong, I probably won't be getting it next year. It'll probably be years and years before I can get it myself. Maybe 5, 6, 7 years from now. I'll be able to get it myself, because I think a lot of these are going to be going to people that are paying a premium, and maybe I end up being one of them, but it'll be for internal use and companies that are going to pay a lot more than $20K for a robot. They'll be paying $100K, maybe more, and Tesla will be able to do that because it'll be the best in the world at the cheapest price. So when I post shit like this, it's because I'm looking out towards the future and trying to tell you what company this is going to be. 12.4.2 is supposed to be really awesome, and I'm waiting for that to come where I am, but it's starting to release out to people, so it's exciting to see. All right, that's just the China sales hitting a new high. Elon Musk now following the founder of Uber. Huh. That's interesting. Maybe that has something to do with AI Day and autonomy. Just a guess. Sawyer Merritt said Tesla patent explains an automated sanitizing system, potentially for robotaxi, in part by utilizing UV light and steam. So I could see where it's kind of brilliant. The Tesla cars that can do everything already anyways can like spray out some steam and some UV light and try and kill any bacteria so that we're not spreading plague, when we've got tons of people moving in and out of these things all the time. Kind of makes sense. Seems cool. Seems like they're preparing for the future, which is what I like. Sawyer said, Elon on full self-driving, our next-gen AI model after this has a lot of promise, 5x increase in perimeter count, which is very difficult to achieve without upgrading the vehicle inference computer. So basically saying that with current tech, this is an amazing number, and this will have profound impact on Tesla's ability to be able to drive these vehicles. Real quickly, Tesla Chan posted, with Tesla Korea's end of quarter delivery, the cumulative total of Tesla vehicles in Korea will now be close to $80,000. Feel grateful to all Korean owners who are expanding their base. So this is interesting because, again, if we look at this over previous quarters, it dwarfs them. It's a big number. Look at this. 3x, 4x the previous. So if we see some of that Q3, Q4, we're seeing expansion in Korea. And again, we're going to be seeing expansion in every market they're in, guys. It's just the way it works. This is funny because it's June 29th, just a couple days ago, but it says the Model Y was the best-selling car in Xinjiang province of China. This was despite it being twice as expensive as BYD cars. BYD can't make a fucking profit, maybe barely, with some of theirs. And it's going to be like the hybrids. So they're not even competitive in the EV space. And their stuff costs half the price, and they can't sell as many. Where are the Tesla killers? Please tell me. All right, BEV sales in Europe year to date. Look at Tesla. Look at Tesla. It's the one on top. It's quite a bit fucking bigger than anybody else. Where are the Tesla killers? I don't see them. I'm looking. I look all the time. I don't see them. The Czech Republic. 2024, do you see a pattern here that might differ from the others? I'll let you look at that. You can go back and rewind if you need to. Holmar's catalog. There will be no market for cars that can't drive themselves, just as there is no longer a market for computers and cell phones that can't connect to the internet. I know it's hard to wrap your head around, but people need to absorb this. Things are changing rapidly. This is from Tesla Winston, who said, people are saying Rivian needs to license Tesla full self-driving from Tesla in order to succeed are crazy. Well, you're crazy, Tesla Winston, because they have to. They have to. All right, Holmar said on non-foundation Cybertruck until Q4 or Q1 of 2025 as orders for foundation series. So even though Elon said that this next quarter we'd probably be getting out of the foundation series, it looks like the more people see my vehicle and others like it that they really like, they're ordering, and then they're saying, oh yeah, I'll pay an extra $20,000 to get ahead of the line and get some, $13,000 to $1,000 worth of shit at the same time, maybe a hair more. So they're doing that. And so these things, the foundation series might not end until Q1 of 2025. So for over a year, they'll be selling these things with the foundation series. So there's going to be a lot of us. All right, so some people earlier, too, were talking about how XAI is so different. Oh, damn it. It moved on me. I hate this shit so much. I hate it when this happens. Let me go back 1 second. Let me find where I was at. And I won't. These bookmarks, if there's anything you can fix, Elon, can you fix these fucking bookmarks for me? Please to God. I hate them so much. All right, fuck it. We're just going to end it right here because I'm annoyed. I think I said enough about Tesla. There's probably other charts that are in there as well for different parts of Europe and other countries across Southeast Asia. But just know this. Know that they're all headed up, and we're going to see record numbers coming out here soon for Tesla. It's all good. We're very lucky. And expect to make a lot of money in the future. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's look real quickly at other stuff. We kind of jumped all over the place. I didn't finish all the macros. So the dollar, slightly down today, 0.03%. I would just call that flat. Gold. Gold is boring as fuck at 21%. Jesus, how can anybody even watch this shit? It's like paint drying. Oil. Oil had a hell of a day today, and I don't know why. Does anybody in chat know why? I haven't really been paying attention to energy. It's just gains. It's just high margins. Okay, I'll take it. What? So if you guys know what's happening with oil, otherwise I'll do some research here tomorrow and the next day and see if I can figure out what's going on here. Let's look at the 2-year bond. How are we doing on the 2-year? The 2-year, I honestly looks like a bear flag. I mean, this looks like a bear flag. It looks like it's getting ready to roll over. And this is for the rate that they're going to pay. If this rate is dropping, that's actually good because demand's picking up for these. And the people are making money because the demand has picked up and people are buying more. And that's why the rate drops. Bonds are weird. If you don't understand it, you might have to watch some basic videos on it to understand how bonds work. At least in regard to the rate versus the value. But anyway, it looks like it's going to roll over, in my opinion, and I think that's good. It means that people are gobbling these up, and I think it's banks doing it, and I think that that's providing more global liquidity, which is great. The inversion, how are we doing on the inversion? We're trying to creep back up. I don't think we're going to. I think we're still going to reject here and stay underneath, and I think that could stay that way for months, quarters. I could be wrong, but we'll see. The yen, the Japanese yen, is at its, oh God, we're almost back to beginning of 1986 levels. So we've broken the currency. Japanese yen is weakening. There's dangers that can arise from this. There are other currencies around the world that are feeling the same pain. But America will, I think, work through the details and making sure that Japan is okay and that their currency doesn't get too out of hand. Now, I don't know if they give a shit about China, though. I don't think they fucking care. I mean, to a degree they do. You don't want it to be completely unhinged. This is the second biggest economy in the world and has a lot of trading partners. So you can let them hurt and feel pain, but you don't want them to hurt too much. So we'll have to see how all this plays out. But so far, the won and the yen are not looking super great. I think that they could really have some pain in the future. All right, let's just pull up some other stocks here real quick. Let's look at, we got to hit the miners real quick, just to look at how pretty these charts are. So again, I said that for Mara for a while, the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame is like, again, the bull bear territories. So it doesn't make sense that we've really been above it the whole time. Now we're launching up and just really have to, for the first time, establish a base above the 26 range, right up here. And if we can do that, this fib level, and maintain that for several, like maybe two weeks of green, then that'll be the best 2 weeks of green that we've had in a very, very long time, going back years for Mara. So this is looking very cyclical, like getting ready to break out territory, in my opinion. And just to get back to recent local highs, there's 50% upside here. So that's cool. And CleanSpark looks nice and fucking bullish, getting above the .618 again, just grinding at this level before it goes higher, and showing a lot of strength down here in the 15 range. CleanSpark looks like it wants to go. And the best part about this is, to the previous recent local high, there's about a 40% jump. But I think this one, I think the way that we're going here, we could see like 55% and actually get CleanSpark in the 27 range in the not too distant future. Maybe even up to 33. And I mean like in weeks. So that would be cool. Cypher. Showing just massive strength, grinding around this first fib zone, around peak volumes right here more recently, and establishing a base, and now it looks like it wants to rip higher. And this one can really go. Cypher is a much smaller cap, so it's got a bigger multiplier behind it. Not really showing that performance yet, but as the larger caps start to peter off, like the money will flow into them, and people will be looking for the next thing that they can dump money in, and the next narrative, and whatever positive news these guys are pushing in the weeks and months ahead, as markets continue to expand, I think will benefit these a lot. All right, let's go to PayPal. PayPal sucks. I bought some today. I bought it because it sucked. Because I still think that there's a story here, and the multiplier behind these options is pretty big. I think I'm going to make a members-only video here too. I'll be doing at least 2 videos here soon, but a members-only video going over my latest stance and the purchases I made and what I'm looking at for the options calculator with them right now at these levels, and just how much somebody could make if they were buying at these levels. And just kind of giving you an idea of risk to reward, like I've done before. That didn't turn out too well for 2025, at least not yet. But I think the numbers are really good for 2026, which is why I was buying those calls. And I will talk about that in that video. Hood. Hood is still, it looks like I said, we want to grind up here between like 30 and 33. I think that's where Hood starts to get resistance. So we got 50% upside potential. Not bad. SoFi is just a shit stock. But I think this is a base forming here, and I might actually start looking at January 2026's, maybe even June's on SoFi, depending upon what the multipliers look like. I will throw that into this other video. Square, SoFi, PayPal, ARKG. I'll probably cover at least all 4 of those. So make sure you remember if you want that. SoFi. Let's go to the next here. Square got kicked in the nuts again today too. But again, just establishing a base down here. I feel like this is going to be one of the others that I'm looking at for those options. So again, I'll go over all of it. And again, how far are we down? How far down is Square from its... Square is at 78% from its all-time high here, which is arguably either February 2021 or August 2021. So close on both for that double top. That's a long time ago, guys. If we drag this out, that is 1,246 days ago. So looking pretty cheap on this one. There's lots of interesting stuff right now. Palantir. Palantir is still showing strength. It's a good company. It seems like it's getting a base. This red line here, we might as well just turn this green because it does feel like we're launching off of it. We'll see if it stays that way. But again, if I was exiting this position, it would be closer to the $30 range. I'm not buying here. It's up 337% from December of 2022, and I've made a lot of money off of this one. I'm not buying here. I think there's time for this. I want Tesla. I want Bitcoin related investments in altcoins. I think that's the focus right now. ARKG, gonna get me some coffee. Just shitting the bed again, which is why I bought more. This is such a great opportunity in my opinion. My bet. So it's down 80% from its all-time high that was established even longer ago. Let's see. Yeah, almost 1,300 days ago. 1,300 days. So this is an area I would say of potential deep value, especially when you look down here and you've got divergence that went back to June of 2022, and it's heading towards the upside with higher lows, right? Each one of these lows is higher than the previous one, right? And it looks like it's like flatlining here. So I think, here's the bet. The bet isn't crazy, I don't think. The bet is that we can see, and let me just drag all these down, that we could see some speculation and the potential of a run of a doubling, just a double between now and 2026, January 2026, and I might even do some Junes of 2026. So that ARKG could double, and I think, and double would again just put us like around the $50 range. I'll talk about this one in that video, the members only video. I don't know if I'll have the energy to do it tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow, and I think that's going to be a really interesting one to look at, because the multiplier behind this, if you haven't run the options calculator or checked out my options 101 video, the multiplier is very interesting. I'll throw the options 101 video at the end of this too for anybody who's interested. I'm not doing a lot of options right now, but I am going to be buying for some of these because they're just so cheap and low right now. And I'll explain my thought process in that video. Flux. Okay, so right now we're sitting at, down 86% from its high. I don't have the timer on this one, but January 2021. So this is old, and it looks like it's finding a bottoming pattern. This one's highly speculative for me, though. I only have, let me see, how much do I have in this one? I got like 33,000 in this one, so it's a very small number. It's like a little over 1% of my investment. So I don't know. We'll see about this one. Look at Rex on Finance or whatever he goes by. He's the guy that is really focused on this one, so he's the one that can probably give you the most details. I know he met with management recently here too, so feel free to check on that. I might buy more later, but there's just so many other things I'm interested in right now outside of these, which I don't understand as well. Again, this was speculation and learning, and I haven't put enough time into it to really feel good about it. Now, with DLO, God, you hope this thing found a bottom. Again, when I look at the financials on this, a $2.43 billion market cap does not seem crazy to me at all. So there's either something going on here, or there's a big disconnect in what its true value is. And so I've got some still in this, not a huge position, 26K. It looks like that went up 25% today, so somebody got interested in it. But I think my original, in total, I put in, let's see, cost basis 71,792. So I paid a lot, and I'm down 63% on this one. So it hasn't been great, but I might add more later. If I do, though, it's going to be smaller amounts. Again, this is like about 1% of my investments, close to it, a little bit less. So between the two of these, it's like less than 2%. All right, let's look at what you guys had here and start going through some of this list. And I'm going to try and get some coffee. At least the internet isn't disconnecting too much. You know what I mean, man? At least not too much. All right, yes, market coming up. Hey, Jesse, congrats on miners and Tesla today, all flying. Yes, they were, man. Really good stuff. All right, Albert. Hey, Jesse, what catalyst, in your opinion, would send fintech stocks up? And I answered that in here. I said an economy that is sluggish and being stimulated by central banks and politicians, which is what we have. And so I do believe that's something Michael Howell talks about a lot. An economy that's slightly sluggish, that has the Fed, issuing treasuries. People talk about the bond market and treasuries a lot. We need to differentiate between those. So like bond, think of like 30 years of bond, right? It's a long dated treasury. The Fed lately with T-bills, which are treasury bills, not the bonds, right? They're shorter dated. So they're like 20 year and under, and shorter time frames. They've been issuing much shorter time frames because they're trying to basically make it to where they're not locking in a lot of high interest debt for many years, right? They don't want to do that. They want to issue bills where people get high interest now, but then that that they can stop that whenever the expiration is 2 years, 5 years, whatever, or less. Lesser treasuries too, like maybe 6 months or whatever. But they're trying to basically make it to where they're paying a high amount of interest for the shortest amount of time. And so that's what's happening right now with the Treasury. And so what's interesting about that is that banks are buying this up, these bonds, and they're using that to basically just expand liquidity for the most part, not all the time, but a lot of the time. And so you're seeing with this shorter dated issuance that the government has to do just to service all the debts that we have. We're looking at a really high rate of inflation, but I think it's going to be sustainable for a while. And really beneficial for global liquidity and markets. And with China basically depegging and just starting to, do the same thing that we do, issue the debt, buy the debt, issue the debt, buy the debt, issue the debt, buy the debt. It's just like it's like an engine after a while, and it just keeps speeding up. But they're way more indebted than us, and now they're using the same practices. So it's going to get really ugly in the future, but that constant need to expand liquidity now exists within the two biggest economies in the world. And I think that means markets go up. This is what the data tells us. All right. Anyway, I unloaded earlier. Jay the Savage said, I unloaded earlier for Tesla thinking it might dip, but all is not lost. I rolled it into CleanSpark. Okay. Hey, that's kind of honestly, CleanSpark could do a higher return than Tesla. But over the short term, I've been tricked before by Tesla and thought that Bitcoin would be the one to run, only to see Tesla run, 32x from the low in a year and a half. So don't let Tesla fool you. It can. Just own a lot of it. All right. What do we got? Luke Automata. Audio is fantastic. That's awesome. I'm really glad the audio is working. Now, if I could just get my internet to work. Justin Chewy. Chart and financials, please. I can do that. And I think I got this one. So let me just look it up. Gotta teach myself how to. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there's Chewy. Continuing to get decimated off of a horrific wick from $40 almost. I think I talked about this one the other day. Let's look at the financials in this one real quick, because I think that's going to be needed. Just so I don't misspeak. All right, so the financials. We're seeing 191% profit growth year over year, but we're seeing revenue growth that's almost flat. The forward PE is 140, which is rich, right, for Chewy. It's hard to chew. No, never mind. I'm not going to do it. Kind of did it. Anyway, revenues are looking to go up, but modestly. EPS doesn't look crazy either. I don't know. With such a high PE ratio, and then seeing that we're seeing more shares sold than bought going back years for this company. And again, the profit growth year over year looks good. Net sales active per customer. It looks like they're running the business pretty good. Decent cash position, but I don't like that the share dilution is still as high as it is. Again, it's just kind of a way to steal money from you. And I don't know, $66 million in revenue for a $10.5 billion, or I should say net income from a $11.1 billion market cap. Enterprise value at 10.5. It's rich to me. And so even though this thing's dropped, and this wick, this right here, this is a deal breaker right here, man. When you see, let's go to a weekly, it's cleaner. When you see a weekly candle, going back to the beginning of this company, that has a blow-off top like this, and that blow-off top, let me see here, where's my percentage? That blow-off top drops you very quickly, down 34% in a couple of weeks. That is not great. That is not great. I mean, this right here, this volume right down here, probably was indicative of a bottom. But this wick we're seeing here, it means we could trade sideways into this for a while. And again, the forward PE is 140. And so, like, we could trade sideways to down, I would argue. This could be a bottoming pattern where we trade under this range, like the 25 down to the, maybe even lower than this, maybe the 14 range. Like if we do this here real quick, look at this. And I got to move it a little bit. But this is probably what you're looking at. And here, it's going to be cleaner here. This is probably what you're looking at for a bottom. And so it could just be ugly. It could be like 13. It could dredge down into here to 12. It could do like a PayPal, SoFi, ArcG. It could do one of those, in my opinion. So I don't love it. I don't love it personally. Let me see here. No calls here, but own Tesla and loving it. Congrats, RJ. Kamawa, hey Jesse, please review RCM about to be bought out. Matterport scenario at $16 to 23. Okay. I wish I would have done Matterport better. I was too far out of the money. I should have been thinking buyout. I mean, I doubled my money, but it pisses me off because I could have done a way better job on that one. But that's what we do, right? We learn. Hopefully. Some people don't learn. Some people would rather ignore the truth and run away from it because it doesn't like conform to their belief in reality. I'm not one of those people. I do not give a shit about that kind of stuff. I might reject something for a short period of time because I think I'm right, but when proven wrong, I will flow like water, my friend. All right, is this R1 RCM? R1 RCM? I gotta say yes. It's the Nasdaq. It's interesting. It's an interesting chart. Almost looks like a head and shoulder, but I don't want to call it that. I need to look at the financials here and see what I'm seeing. Charts for Dell. Yeah, maybe. SoFi is coming for a turnaround. I believe Q4. I hope so. It's been kicked in the nuts enough. I mean, it's a good bank unless there's something underlying and shady. Banks always scare me because they never actually have any money. If there's one area of the economy that's the scariest to invest in, it's the banking sector that is fractional reserve and heavily indebted, in my opinion. Unless they got Bitcoin on the balance sheet. All right, so this is cool. Revenue growths look good. You think this is an acquisition candidate, huh? Debt, let's see. So not a lot of share dilution. I like that. Operating expenses are pretty flat. Still slightly double-digit revenue growth. 84 PE. I don't love that personally. I would like to see it lower. But I don't know. This could, you know what I see happening here? I see kind of a flattening out, turning this into a base. Kind of like what Cypher did for a long time. I could see something like that. Who knows? Maybe it can bounce and go higher. If it's acquired, certainly, but it's still kind of a rich valuation to me, at least. Those are my thoughts. Mike, hey Jesse, would you consider a trailing stop loss on your Tesla leaps? I don't really do that. I keep it super simple with my leaps, and I just slowly start selling as I head and hit my targets. I've done this before. I can maybe show some work that I've done in the past, like with Palantir. What I did with Square, what I did with CleanSpark, what I did with MicroStrategy, what I did with all these different calls positions that I had when these things were at their lows. Meta was another one. There's been a bunch. Robinhood, I made 500-600% off of that. So yeah, you just find really undervalued companies that are great and that have stats that are continue to rock higher. And if these guys do have stats that are a lot better, please let me know. But otherwise, trying to find those undervalued deals that are going to turn around in the future. That's kind of, I'm trying to look out a couple of years and then at the same time value things as of today and figure out where everything's headed from the macro too. There's a lot to it, but whatever. You get used to it. All right. Heinz. Let's see. Mike said, Jesse, would you... Okay, that was that question. Heinz, looking for group. Here's the deal. Jesse. Rob R. Have a good day today. Thank you. Tesla, CleanSpark. You're welcome, man. I hope you make a bunch of money. Somebody asked for MicroStrategy. I think I did that one. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I just did miners. Let me check. So I think MicroStrategy kind of just hanging today. I do think it's going to kick in here soon. 100 moving average on the daily is a good area of support. It found it over here. It found it here. It found it here. We're back to January of 2024, and it was finding it. Only briefly did it trail underneath here. Otherwise, it's been above, going back quite a ways, March of 2023. So I'd say the 100 is going to be strength, and Bitcoin looks strong. So if the underlying looks strong, and you could expect this to go higher, and I could see the 2,000 range on MicroStrategy, which would not suck by any means. I don't think people realize how much money is about to be made in crypto. If you've got some conception that crypto isn't real money, at least Bitcoin and like Solana, Ethereum, some of these bigger players, if you don't think this shit is real, it's going to smack you in the face. You can have it do it with money, or you can have it not do it with money. It's totally up to you. All right, let me see here. Diego says, looking at Nike, January 16, 130. I believe this is an asymmetrical bet. Would love to hear your thoughts. So that's a decent amount of time. Let's look up Nike. I don't want to say much more outside of that until I look it up, and I might even pull up the options calculator so we can look at that too. I think I might have Nike. Yeah, okay. All right, so Nike. Nike got smoked the other day, right? People don't know that. Got smoked. All right, so we got the weekly right here. Shows some of that. Shows how smoked it got. Boy, you could see this. Look at this bear flag. This is like perfect. This is textbook shit, people. This is like, I'm gonna drop. I wouldn't need to look at this stock or know anything about it financially or any of its real world application, what sector it was even in. If I saw this, I would have gotten the fuck out, because there'd be a measured move, roughly, right? Something like maybe a this that happens there. Close, right? Pretty close. So I would not have owned this. Now the question is, are we at a point of value right now? I don't totally know. Let's look over here. I need to see. So tell me what you think about the company. I just worry about like sales in China. I don't know enough about their international business, but this company had negative 2% growth. Now profit growth was 50%. That's cool. PE isn't crazy high. It's 23.71. It's probably a little high for the sector, but everything's high right now. But look at the Converse revenue, the Apple. It looks like it's got it all broken down here. Nike's going up a little bit, but there's so much competition trying to make such cheap shit. I think they could literally flip and make knockoffs over the next couple of years that could just hurt these guys. And the revenue isn't going anywhere. This isn't really a growing company. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a great deal. I don't think it's an asymmetric bet personally, but you're saying you got a 130 strike on 76. You're saying you're looking for a doubling. Let's look at the options calculator here and see what that looks like. Let me just do this. Just refresh it here. All right. And again, I'll make that video going over options. I'll probably talk about Tesla too, just to show you what the value is at right now. So January 2026, you said like 140, I think. That's what you were talking about. Let's just make this a bigger number so we can have some fun with it. Let's say we put 8,200 towards it. So this thing needs to appreciate by a decent amount. That curve is pretty wicked in my opinion. So for this to get to that target, you would make a lot of money. You'd make a lot of money. But the question is, will they do it? And I don't know. I don't know enough about shoes, man. Or again, some of these like concerns I have at the top of my mind in regard to Nike and footwear with China, and just some of the stuff I'm seeing on Amazon. I see shoes that are like crazy looking from China, and some of them are like really highly reviewed, and the prices are really affordable. And arguably some of them look okay. So I just don't know. I don't know. I don't see how they can compete against that. And that's a really big market, and China's contracting really bad. I don't feel like retail is something I want to be in. That's my 2 cents, man, I think. For now, at least. If you got arguments for that being better, let me know. But I don't love it, dude. Albert, BRICS is a failed passive-aggressive kind non-aggression pact. Yeah, it's pathetic. It's pathetic. And don't get me wrong, I love India, and I think even countries like Brazil might turn around to conservatism in the not too distant future. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a wasted organization. Shoeless Joe says, "What do you think the chances are of China-Taiwan conflict? What do you think the repercussions will be?" The repercussions would be massive. It's dangerous for everybody. The government could be overthrown because I don't know that their country is in a position where they want war. You got a bunch of young people that have known nothing but Western life, pretty much, right? Like being able to have a home, a car, make some money, live a decent way, go enjoy your weekends, work a lot, but have a lot more than your parents or grandparents had. So I think that plays a part. Again, I think I think that's kind of big. I don't know where my thought went on that one. But whatever. Oh, yeah, your question. Yeah, the chances of China, Taiwan. And what do I think the chances are? I think it could happen in the next few years. I don't know, though. I don't think it will. I think the probability is that it won't. Or that if it does, it just ends up being a horrible failure for China. Even though they have the manufacturing, there's so many things that are kind of sketchy. They have strong manufacturing, but I think their government would be overthrown, which would ruin their plans. I don't think it's a good idea for them. If I was a dictator named Xi, I would say nope. And I would try and stabilize my economy, which is leaning to the West, which means completely changing everything that he's doing. So let's see how likely that is too. All right, Silly Bunt, what do you think about TNA calls? TNA calls. What do I think about those? Let's just pull up TNA, shall we? Here's my thought on that. This is the small cap bull 3X. So there's time decay in this because, again, it's like time based, right? So you lose a little bit of that return as time goes on. Pays a dividend. I think as like a general fund, I don't think this is a bad idea. I think you can get 150, 140% return from the levels we're sitting at. But again, that will have diminishing returns. So maybe it's like 110, 120%. And I think that could happen in like a year to two. So that doesn't seem like a bad idea to me. As far as just owning TNA because it's a multiplier. The calls, I don't know. I'd have to look at them and see what they look like. Let me look over here. Somebody says, can we look at Aspen? Sorry, Jesse. What is the options website called again? Oh, options website. Yeah, it's I go to this one. There's a few of them, but I like this one the most. I find it to be the most accurate. It's optionsprofitcalculator.com. Now, sometimes people don't understand that liquidity plays a big role in options, and so they don't understand that this won't be a perfect representation of your gains if there's no liquidity. The numbers can fluctuate really quickly in different directions. So if you should have sold and then the price starts to drop and you didn't sell, that can be costly for you if you're short on time. People just don't think about things like this with options, but you need to. Let me see here. MicroStrategy we did. Nike we did. TNA we did. Let me scroll down. Paul Hoger, OPE on NEL, ASA. It's a lot of acronyms for somebody who's getting, I'll be late 40s here right now, so don't do too many acronyms. Let me see, what was that? NEL. Do I have that one? Kind of sounds familiar, but maybe not. Nope. Okay. Let me make a copy. NEL. Let me just do up here, change this. And I might, let's see what time it is, 4/6/18. Oh, it's not too bad. Actually didn't do too bad. Oh, here we go. So you were saying, I see. It's NEL ASA, Producer Manufacturing, Industrial and Manufacturing. All right, so this one's going to be interesting. 9.36 billion. From a technical level, this looks like it's finding a base, right? We got price action here going all the way back to 2015. This big trough in 2024, and it looks like we're finding a base. If we get above like 750, I mean, maybe we're heading up to at least the 200 around the 10 range. before going higher. But what do their finances look like? That's always like the big thing, right? It's like, are they good? Can I even find this one? This is like foreign, so I don't even know if I can get this one over here. Yeah. Yeah, so let me look over here. I hate looking up foreign ones that don't show under visual stocks because I love that site so much. All right, so these guys are, at least annually, they look like they were making progress in their net income. Hey, Q1 of 2024 wasn't bad. I don't have all the fancy stuff that I normally have from visual stocks, but this, I don't know, arguably their revenue hasn't really done much. There's probably some cyclicality, but I do like that they're trending towards actually making some money. But again, this is a $9.36 billion company, and I don't know much more than that, so I don't know what to say. So I don't know what more to say, Paul. If you got more on that one that you could provide for input on why you think it's a good deal, I'd love to see it. RJ Cohen, Wolf, wait for a pullback or add to position. Oh, I think I kind of answered that earlier, but yeah, it's up to you, man. I mean, it went up like 15% or something today. I mean, it's a shit ton. I add on down days, so I don't do it now. Derek Fisher says, hey, Jesse, when you start taking ticker requests, I would love to get your thoughts on fundamentals and technicals for both Crowd and Snow. So if I remember, I'm not a huge fan of Snow. Let me look at that one first. I think the financials just look horrible. And I'll probably just pull this up under visual stocks. That's probably better. You can see it screaming higher, 5.7%. It's a $47 billion market cap. Billion. Did you hear me? Billion. So it's like a Palantir. Actually, Palantir is probably a little better than that now. But it's like a Palantir, but what do their financials look like? So look at that net income. I don't know if that was a one-time write-off, but fuck. Like negative $316 million in a quarter where you make 828. Sucks. They do have positive cash flow. Operating expenses are trending higher than I would like them. They've got lots of money. What do they have for reserves? $3.5 billion. Profit. I mean, again, things look like they're heading in the right direction. I'd have to know more about their financials and why their net income is just shit. But they're guiding for higher on EPS and revenue. They were buying their company back more aggressively in 2020 and 2021. Nobody's really doing anything now. But yeah, I don't know enough about this one, but it's got a forward PE of 201. That's all I can say. That's just a fucking horrible number. I think that's shit, and it's hard for me to even think about a company like that. Crowd. Let's look at Crowd. Yeah, I just wouldn't pay it. And I think Palantir, actually, before I go to Crowd, what are they at? So Palantir is at 74 for forward PE. So you could get 200 or you could get 74. I can tell you which one I'm looking at. It's Palantir. That's the one I'm looking at. Palantir is the next Palantir. All right. And CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike got 33% year-over-year revenue growth, 8,400% in profit growth because, again, they just didn't have any. Really strong revenue growth here, 900, almost $1 billion in revenue. What are they taking home? 42. Forward PE is 92. It's a little rich, but I think this is probably, this is pretty good performance. Look at profit contributions from subscriptions. It's a SaaS service, man. This will always, professional services will never compare to subscriptions. When you have software as a service or a subscription-based thing, look at how much money you make versus like what they're making down here for professional services. It's almost laughable. You could almost just give up on the other job or at least charging for it. Cash and debt continue to go higher on these guys. They got $3.7 billion. This is a nicer looking company. And look at this EPS, what they're forecasting. Out of the two, if I was comparing this to Snowman, I'd pick this one. Not Snowflake, ServiceNow. Oh, okay. Let me take a look. Sorry about that. Let me see. Oh, God, if I can type worth a shit. Having a Mac, I love it and hate it all at the same time. I do love it mostly, though. I'm not going to complain. Way better than my PC. Now it's only my internet that's crashing. All right, so now looks... All right, this is a different company. So 56 PE, 24% year-over-year revenue growth. Profit growth looks great at 129%. I like everything's guiding good on this. Let's see what activity. They were doing buybacks in Q1 of 2024. Short interest is non-existent. Everybody believes this company is going to be doing well. Operating, I like that revenue's outpacing expense. It would be nicer to see expenses coming down. But again, value-wise, 56 forward PE is not a bad number for this one. So I will take back what I said now that I've got the right stock. This one looks a lot better. This looks good. CrowdStrike and this look good. I don't know if they're the asymmetric bets I'm looking for, but they could definitely do well. Vagabond. Thank you, Jesse. Great show and nice ticker review. I have a request of any NFE and CEG for the next week if I'm okay. Very foreseeable future. Okay, I will try and get to that. Hey, guys, if you want me to get to the tickers sooner in the video, just come in early. I post on X a lot of the time that, hey, like I've got the video up for the day. Or maybe even just if you check like an hour before I start, and throw something in the comments, you'll be at the first of the line, and that way I can get to you for anybody who I might have missed or something. I just want to make sure I'm not missing people, so think about that. Alex said, today I sold all my 719 Tesla calls. So all like really short-dated ones, because that only gives you 18 days for those to hit. So you sold all those up 130%, and then you got 20. You're still holding the 2026 leaps. And I said earlier, that's great. I love that. Livongo, Live and Go. Can you see VSCO, Victoria's Secret? They are trying to compete, but it isn't looking very good, except December when they all sell a lot. Yeah, everybody loves to get their stripper outfits in December. VSCO. Let's take a look. All right, so estimates. Let's just look here. I mean, this looks like slow death. It looks like slow death. They're going to have to get their stripper clothes online. I mean, it's a forward PE of 9, but there's no growth. So, and I don't know how much this is going to change in the future. Again, I don't love retail. I don't like it. That's my answer. All right, guys. I think I'm going to call it since it's about 4:30. I'm about an hour and a half in. I'll be doing this again on Wednesday. I might even do one on Friday or Thursday. I'm going to try and pick up the pace a little bit. And then again, I'm going to try and do a video here tomorrow covering a lot of these option-related plays that I'm doing, like the Teslas, the Squares, the ARKGs, the just all these different companies that could be interesting. Maybe SoFi for 2026, this kind of stuff. Because I do believe there's some asymmetric bets here. I don't want to dump a bunch of money. I've already put a lot into PayPal and some of these others. I do think that there's opportunity there. And again, I bought like 7,000 worth of calls today. But I don't know if I'm going to devote a ton of money towards it. I'm going to try and keep it low. But get that DCA down. And I mean, now is the time to do it right. And that way, if these do have a hope of bouncing, even if I'm devoting a smaller amount of capital, I could get a lot of that money back, maybe all of it, maybe make some money. And that's the goal here. So anyway, I love you guys. On a day like today, where Tesla is just crushing it, I'm going to go back here, and I think we're going to end on this, okay? So, again, love you guys. You have a great day, and I will see you Wednesday at the latest. Maybe get out a video here tomorrow for you, too. Take it easy. Bye.
Optimus, the robotic humanoid under development by Elon Musk's Tesla Inc., is sparking concerns around job security.
This is not financial advice, silly.
Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Turned up to work and went to start my day. Was barely late, like 9:08. So took my coffee break. Then I got hungry, so I just stopped by the free buffet. But then to my dismay, I heard somebody say, attention, you have lost, you have not met your quota. Pack your belongings in a box, now it's over. Robot just stole my job, I'm there like oh my god. I blame it on Elon, he's taking all I got. But I'm in management, I work hard every day. I need these benefits, health and 401k. How could they do this shit though? Where will I trade my crypto? I had a second monitor for Twitter, where will it go? Somebody please stop the bus, I mean not the fuss, but there's lots of us. And now you say you won't pay me to play ping pong because Optimus. I mean who employs a damn humanoid? Some new droid for you to exploit, deploy to destroy your human droid. No lunch breaks, great, get a few deployed. Your time is up, human inferior to me. I'll take it from here, you're relieved of your duty. Robot just stole my job, I'm there like oh my god. I blame it on Elon, he's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job, I'm there like oh my god. I blame it on Elon, he's taking all I got. It's okay, human, please don't cry. You can always go and become a Twitter thread guy. Make pretty pictures with Midjourney on your new PC. Or make some YouTube videos about ChatGPT. Sucker. Robot just stole my job, I'm there like oh my god. I blame it on Elon, he's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job, I'm there like oh my god. I blame it on Elon, he's taking all I got.